What's up, folks? We are live with another Takeover podcast, and this week I've got an amazing friend, an amazing mentor, the one and only Jay Kinder here with me. So thank you for being with us today, Jay. How's your week, man? How was your Labor Day weekend?
Man, it was a great Labor Day weekend, actually. Got to spend a little time at the lake, which is always good. It's where I usually spend Labor Day, so it's good to do that. So, yeah, man, it's been good. Good week.
You still got which boat do you have now? I don't even know anymore. I saw this photo of one boat, and I don't even know what you got now.
I'm boatless, which is why I was so glad to be at the lake because normally that's the best way to go is with a friend. But I've never done that in like 23 years. I've always had a boat, so I sold mine last year, and now it's got to decide which way I'm going as far as what I'm getting. But it was good to get to go and not have to do all the work that's usually required.
So what do you do now? Is it like somebody else's boat? Is it like, are you part of the Freedom Boat Club or like what? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Those boat clubs are really cool. Actually, we got a couple friends in the neighborhood that have that they go pick it up, everything's ready, and then they can bring it back. That's pretty awesome. But no, I got a dock. I got a slip. I didn't give up my slip because I got some good dock family. It's like your neighbors are like family on the dock, and so I just go out there, hang out with them, and after it's all said and done, come back home.
That's crazy, man. We've been looking at that Freedom Boat Club, and the wife, she doesn't want me to buy a boat, but with all this rev share lately, I'm like, it's looking pretty close.
Right. Yep.
So, and then the stock tripled, so I got the truck with that. But anyways, We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you and NAEA. So, for those of you that don't know, Jay Kinder, he's one of the founders of the National Association of Expert Advisors. And this is a coaching program that we fortunately have been a part of since Gil Ramos, right? Because Gil Ramos paid to be a part of it. And that's where we got all our training from. Everyone always asks, like, where did you get your training? And we tell them the short version. We're like, Gil is the reason we're there. But in reality, it's because of Jay Kinder and this whole program. And it's the coaching company for the top 1% of agents and brokers nationwide. And so, Jay, tell us a little bit about the program, how it got started, where it came from. Tell us the ins and outs of that.
Yeah. So, over the years, long story short, I helped, quite a few people that got into the industry as I had some success, and I always, paid to go to all these live events and stuff like that. You end up on stage and you end up meeting a lot of other top agents. But as I was doing that, met a lot of people that wanted to grow a business. So they would come flying and check out the business and this and that and the other. And I always enjoyed helping people. That was always the thing that I really enjoyed the most, more than even selling real estate. And so, a buddy of mine, Mike Reese, and I started a company called Kinder Reese, which is kinderreese.com. And you can find everything about Kinder Reese and NAEA there at that site. But, we learned that, helping agents, the biggest challenge was implementation, right? Like, you may learn, or you may know exactly what to do, but the hardest thing was like coming back and implementing it. So as we looked at like what were some ways that we could add more value to agents, we learned that, the best thing we could do is make things more duplicatable, easier to implement. And so when you become a member of NAEA, your positioning as being an expert advisor, we can create more marketing for you. We can train you on the processes for winning a listing, a seller, what to say on the phone, all that kind of stuff. And then, have done for you services that came along with it that just made it a lot more likely for you to be successful. And then on the flip side, if you had a team, it was the additional training that, you could plug them into, because a lot of people, as that start teams don't have, they didn't have a hiring process. They didn't realize all the jobs that come with hire. When you make your first hire, as far as on your team as an agent, who's what's the onboarding process, what's the ongoing training, and so they're not really ready for that. And so this was something they could easily kind of plug people into, and we would do it for them. So helping out teams and helping out agents is really kind of what it's always been about.
And when did you guys because obviously this has been something you guys have had for a while, because I've only been in the industry 2.5 years, but for me, that's people ask all the time. They're like, how did you get here? And I'm like, oh, it's simple. Just follow this. And they're like, well, that's not simple. I'm like, no, it is, because you literally just plug and play and it's already set to go. So how long have you guys actually been doing this?
So been in real estate 23 years. In 2006, we started the coaching side of things, and that evolved to, in 2011, became NAEA. And so, just the evolution of always trying to improve upon what we deliver to the agent to help them. It took years and years and years of work, but it's been, since 2011, we've been in NAEA. 2006, since we've been really coaching and training agents.
That's crazy. And for those of you that haven't checked it out, make sure you guys look it up. The letters N as in Nancy, AEA. It's in the lettering below. But it's one of these programs where, it helps you stand out as an agent. What it does is it amplifies a lot of the things you do because, Jay, when you came here to Orlando and you brought that oversized listing presentation sheet, I thought that was like one of the coolest things ever. So Jay brought this oversized listing presentation sheet and it was amazing because tell the folks why, because I love it when you tell it.
Yeah, man.
Why do we do that? So
I wish I had one I'd show everybody right now. So, this is a quote. This is a writer down or something I learned from one of our mentors, Dan Kennedy. Money moves the difference, not similarity. And in real estate, man, are we not all the same? I mean, we pretty much showed up with the same CMAs. They look exactly the same. We're doing the same dog and pony show. And it's really not, that's not the goal. The goal is to differentiate yourself in a way where someone sees what the value is that you bring to the table. So these large placemats become the presentation. It's a process, right? So you have to make the value visible. If you want to not get asked for a discount, what is the value you bring and how do you make that value visible? And it's not about you. It's about the process you use for selling homes for the most amount of money, right? So our differentiated value proposition is we have a proven, repeatable system backed by market research to sell homes for up to 18% more than the methods of traditional real estate agents. Would you like for me to show you how we do that? If you can just get the marbles out of your mouth and say that one phrase, you're probably going to set more appointments with people that maybe said, hey, I know someone in real estate, or no, I'm not interested, or whatever. And so as you start, and what I've learned is as agents start understanding that I've got to do something. If I want predictability, right? If I don't want to be on this roller coaster, then I've got to learn how to spend money in marketing to acquire a customer, which means I've got to learn how to convince a stranger to want to do business with me, which also translates to I got to learn how to build trust with a stranger so that they will see value in what it is that I'm advising them to do in the transaction. And so in order to be an expert advisor, all of that has to be in alignment. I can't spend money in marketing if I don't have a value proposition, if I don't know how to articulate that value to the seller and help them to see what it is that we do that's different. And so all of that was the piece that was kind of really heavy, right, for an agent to even know where to start. And so that was the whole nucleus of everything was we're going to do everything completely the opposite, the way a regular real estate agent would probably do it. And the goal of that is to be so vastly different and make that value visible and create a defining gap between you and every other agent in the marketplace. And so that with that training is a significant amount of training, right? It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be trained. If you're in the room with somebody who was disarming Bobs, would you want to be with somebody who's trained or partially trained? I think most agents are partially trained, and if you want to be successful in real estate, you need to be fully trained. And so that's really where we kind of step in and bring it to the next level, is getting you fully trained so that you have the confidence and know what to say in every scenario in order to win the business.
So it's funny because you mentioned a lot of things in there that I like. I practice it on a regular basis, right? So the whole you wouldn't be in a room with a bomb disarmer that doesn't know, that only did half the training, right? So it reminded me of all the certification courses that you can actually get through NAEA, because that's one of the things I tell for sale by owners. I'm like, or anybody going to new construction, I'm like, you wouldn't go to court without your attorney, right? And it's the same thing. Like you wouldn't go to a doctor that's only gone to half the medical school, right? So it's funny because all these things are things that I've learned from you and from these courses. But obviously it's a general thing, and we talked about the listing and the oversized card, but kind of break down for us some of the courses that you can take and get certified for, because that's really where people are. I had a class yesterday where I've been telling them, I'm like, people stay in your lane in this industry, but it's really more so of like, pick your niche. It's not so much stay in your lane and become the expert in that to be able to deliver more. But I know that through you guys, you can get so many more certifications. And so what are some of the certifications that they can get through you guys? Yeah.
So the two main ones are, around the two types of, buyers and sellers, right? Most of our revenue comes from selling to a buyer or selling, or listing a house and getting it sold. So those are the two main ones, certified home selling advisor or certified home buying advisor. Those are the two main designations. And these aren't like your GRI or CRS. I took all that stuff. It was not, I learned maybe a couple little nuggets. You always learn something. You focus on what you get out of something. And so I got stuff out of that, but that wasn't a system. It wasn't a system for me to, I was a graduate real estate institute. That did not mean anything as far as what I could do to go get another client. Same thing with CRS or certified residential specialist. meant nothing to me. I got some good classes, and some continued education, but that was not in any way, shape, or form how I was going to learn how to get more customers, which is what the biggest challenge I think we all face. And so, so those are the main courses that we teach. The other agent to CEO, one that we recommend is the certification on what is it? I forget what it's called now. There's certification on negotiation. So certified negotiation expert. That's not us, but that's one that we highly recommend. I got to the point in my career where I was going on so many listing appointments that I couldn't present all the offers that we would get, right? And so that became a problem in and of itself, if you can imagine. Always having an offer every weekend, you're working every evening. So we licensed our listing coordinator and got her certified in a course on negotiation, the CNE course. And that became a value add for our client base. Like, we have a certified negotiation expert. In fact, she was so much better than me because people would never tell me anything. I called the other agent, they wouldn't tell me anything. They're playing hard to get, with what, trying to get a deal together. But when Carla would call, they would tell her everything. And that would be how we would learn how to get the deal done and, put the deal together or make sure we negotiated the best deal for our client. And so there's so much that, if you plug yourself with the right people that are going and learning the best stuff in the industry, it's so much fun, like how much you can learn and grow in this industry. And there's so much that you can go that's out there that's kind of average, but it's just cool to be able to deliver on a much, much higher level, which I just think that those courses, the CNE is another one that's really good. Then we had agents to CEO. It's a huge transition to go from thinking you're going to build a business or start a team, and what things you need to know in order to do that, like, and when, and who's that first hire, and what is their job description, and what are the roles and responsibilities, and then what's the onboarding process look like, and then what's the ongoing training process, and how are you going to hold them accountable? What are their KPIs? How are you going to measure success? Do you have agreements or expectations? Like, man, I'm telling you, these are all mistakes I made. Like, this isn't like, hey, some smart guy just figured all this out. Nope. There's a lot of books that took a lot of years of me crashing into walls, right? Like, that's how I got there, was learning, okay, what's that book, Brad Smart, from a hiring process, we adopted a lot of those things into our processes, right? And then we just teach the best practices from the best things that we found over the years to get the best result every time.
So I tell a lot of people, because a lot of people ask the question, like, how did you get here this fast and in 2.5 years? And I tell them, I was like, I'm fortunate enough I've got Jay Kinder, right? I've got Jay Kinder, I've got Mike Reese, Albie Stasek, I've got Gil Ramos and Carlos German that all made all the mistakes before me. So, and I'm making new ones. Don't get me wrong. Remember,
sure.
I changed all the transactions for this, all the transaction documents for the state of Florida first week I joined us, and that was fun. A long conversation with Judy, but that's a totally different story.
Right.
But it's funny because what people don't understand is that they're trying to reinvent the wheel all the time. And people are, instead of making it smoother and just following an easier path, they're fighting against it. Recently I had a conversation with somebody because, they were talking about their team and their formation and how they've got it set up. And I was like, why didn't you do what we did? And they're like, oh, well, we're doing ours differently than you. And I was like, why? And they were like, oh, because we're not like you. I was like, I get what you're saying. However, mine is based off of Jay Kinder and that model. And I was like, and they've already made all the mistakes. Let me show you a few tricks. And then they realized the mistakes they were making in the hiring process, like you're saying, and a few other things. So, for anybody out there that's new, I would highly look into this program. If any of you are looking into switching into a team format, right, and you're looking to have all these processes in place, I would look to those who did it better before you, because the biggest thing that I've learned to make my life easier is to just follow a series of steps. And a lot of people, they tout their chest and they sit there and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to do it this way and I'm going to do it that way. And then later I see them have KV Core, and later I see them do this and do that. And I'm like, you're just copying, just follow the steps.
Right.
And so if somebody was to, start a new team, what would be the first few steps that you would recommend besides partnering with us? Because that's an obvious one, right? Partnering with the right people to get to where 100%. You want to be. So
that's really the best. I mean, the historically, I mean, let's go back to like, well, how are we able to do it? Well, I paid the top people all across the country, and I learned from them, and I crashed into the wall enough times that I listened a little closer, and I took better notes, and I went back and executed a little bit better, and I got the same results as they did. And so, that's the cool thing about the opportunity to partner with us. It's really a lot better. Now you don't have to pay us. And you could partner with us and learn all the same things. But that's the key to success, is modeling, right? Like, there's nothing you're trying to do in real estate right now that hasn't already been done by somebody. Right. And so, like, put your ego aside, quit trying to, and it kind of contradicts, what we opened with, which is money moves the difference, not similarity. But when you know someone has done it and got to a high level of and doing something a certain way, copy it and then make it different after that. Like, get the same result first and then make it your own. Don't over entrepreneur things where you make it to where it doesn't work. And I learned this by, again, falling on my face. I had a coach that told me, hey, follow the script. Shut up, follow the script. Just use the script. Okay, fine, I'll use the script. So I'm using the script, and then I told him, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. He's like, yes, it does. You're not following the script. I was like, he's like, record your calls and send them to me. I was like, all right. So I recorded my calls, sent it to him, and he said, you weren't listening. You didn't follow the script. I was like, yes, I did. And I really genuinely believed that I had followed the script. I really did. But I didn't. I was changing a couple things up, and it changed the context of the script, and it didn't work. And as soon as I fixed that, it worked. And I was like, I am stupid. Like, I could do better. Like, I just have to listen a little bit closer, and it's not near as hard as I'm making it. And so that was a big aha for me when I was really young. And I learned that my ego gets in the way, thinking that that I know what the hell I'm doing when I don't. And there's a lot to learn in this industry. There's a lot to learn about selling, a lot to learn about marketing, a lot to learn about everything. So get a good mentor, especially a mentor who has done what you're trying to accomplish, but more importantly, has a track record of success and helping other people do the same thing. Because somebody that's been successful doesn't mean that they can help you be successful, because they ain't never done that before. They've just only been successful. They may not even remember. And I remember when Mike Reese called me the very first time, and he asked me, well, what should I do? Like, well, how did you become successful? I'm like, I don't know. I did a lot of things, and something, I don't remember what worked first, but something did. And then, you did so many things that didn't work. I couldn't have backtracked and told him what I did. But he said, well, what website should I get? Oh, I know the answer to that. You should get this website, because this is the best lead generation website there is on the planet. And look how many leads I got. And this is so before he even had his license, he had the right website, right? Like, so like those, you have, somebody who's helped somebody from scratch and helped them become successful. And then now they have a system for helping people do that. That's what's different about what we do. It's not what you get. I was talking to some guy the other day. He was in a coaching program that I had been in before, so I'm familiar with it. But it was 12 modules, and they were 12 topics that you're going to go through over the course of the year. And once we reverse engineered where he was at and where he was trying to get to, the first step had nothing to do with what the first 4 months of modules were. So that was not the right coaching plan for him. That was not customized to where he's at and where he's trying to go and what his next step needs to be. So he might learn a lot over that, but he's not getting anywhere. So that's that's what you find out. There's a lot of stuff that's cookie cutter, or there's not a process that's being taught or a methodology to it. And this is getting into the deep into the weeds. But like, if you don't have a methodology for how to grow someone's business, then I'm not hiring you, because I know that you don't have a system for how you're going to teach it to me. And so that's a key thing I think a lot of people miss. And coaches are great, but you want to have the right coach too.
So I tell people all the time, because people ask why we partnered up with you guys. And it was funny because I remember meeting you the very first time. You were like, this guy's just sitting in the corner. And you're like, who's this kid sitting in the back taking notes? Even
I can tell you were a baller. I can tell you was a baller.
Well, it was just funny because even Carlos said it. Carlos literally introduced me to you. It was just like, oh, yeah, when I saw Dan, I was like, he's a nobody because he's sitting in the back corner not doing anything. I was like, just back there taking notes, just quiet.
Right.
But it was funny because I had that Wolf of Wall Street moment, right, with you. And it was just like, can I see your income? And you were like, well, I have multiple businesses, but I can show you this app that shows you this. And I was like, all right, that's cool. But I remember that aha moment because it showed me that I was only like a half a step to a full step behind you, right? Most people don't realize that next level of achievement for them is literally right in front of them. They just have to step forward into it, right?
Right. Yep.
And it was that aha moment where I was like, okay, 80K, that's cool. I can do a few extra deals a year and make 80K extra. And you're like, no, that's this month. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean that's this month? That's crazy. I was like, obviously, the whole, like, if you show me a check for $71,000, I quit today and I work for you. And that was kind of the step. But people don't get it because I don't know why it is, especially in this industry. I see a lot of agents and brokers. I see them suffering, man. I know you see it all the time too. You see it more than I. And I don't know why they put themselves through it when I've got a leader like you that literally has already done it for me. And it's just like, hey, here's the formula. And we're updating it on a constant basis. I think that's my favorite part is seeing all these agent and CEO videos because there's multiple of them with you and John Kitchens and Mike Wall. These guys are constantly elevating the game on a regular basis. This isn't an outdated program. This is a program that is constantly updating. And if you don't keep up with the times, you're just going to fall behind and you're going to be another dinosaur. And I thank you for that. And it's funny because it's something that a lot of people just skip over at the end of the day. And I'm like, why is it so difficult to see past that level? And I don't know what it is. Like you said, it's an ego thing.
Yeah. So a lot of times it's ego. It really is. And, we buy into the story we're telling ourselves. And then other times, like if you're not looking for help, that's the worst. If you want to change anything in your life, you first have to have the awareness it can be better, and then you have to have the desire to want to change it. And so that's where it starts. Do you have that desire? Because if you have that desire, you're going to start looking, and if you start looking, you're going to run into it somewhere. and you start listening to the feed. What are you learning from? What are you hearing? And are you hearing that message? Because this is what you're going to have to fix. This is what's broken. And are you like, no, I don't like the answer to that. I want a different diet than that diet. That's not what I was wanting to hear. You're going to tell me I have to work out too? Hell no. Let me get something easier than that. No, listen, but you got to listen. You got to be willing to receive that message, and then you got to take action. And if you get around the right people, they're going to push you to be better, and they're going to push you to elevate yourself. And that's what, we don't get that sometimes at home. We don't get that sometimes in our own real estate office environment that we've been in for 10 years or 20 years. And so, yeah, you gotta be willing to step into the darkness in order to find the light.
And so let's talk about that next step, right, with the digital president, right? Because that was one of the first things I took from you guys, because, Gil was part of the NAE program before I was in it. And then, Gil kept pushing me. He was like, you got to see digital president, because he knew I was all into social media marketing and all this tech stuff. And he's like, no, you have to listen to digital president. I remember because I was like, when's the audiobook coming out? And I was reading through it. So tell us about that next level when it comes to being the digital president and what being a digital president is all about.
Yeah. So it was an evolution of what we had already done in our own marketplaces by becoming the dominant agent in the marketplace in whatever niche it is. It doesn't have to be the whole marketplace. I mean, at one point I had 12%, 13% market share, but it was about, it's about understanding that you can be the most recognized agent in a niche, in any subset of people. And it's all marketing. All marketing is reach and frequency. Reach is how many people hear your message. Frequency is how many times they've heard it. And until you've been heard enough times and seen in enough different ways, you're not going to be the top of mind person they think of when it's time to buy or time to sell. And that can be manufactured and engineered. And digital president was really Mike and Woods' way of taking everything that we've learned about marketing and applying that to social media and to how to become that digital president, that go-to person in the marketplace. Leveraging media like this right here, what you're doing is, for us to do this, years and years ago, we couldn't do it. TV didn't have this interaction. Radio barely. I did a radio show, but it didn't have this kind of interaction. And so people can get to know you and see you, and the retargeting and the things that you can do for people to see your message over and over and over again. And you can see who's watching what and serve certain things for pennies on the dollar. You just couldn't do that before. Like you had to mail to, if you're doing direct mail, you got to mail to everybody in the neighborhood, even the person that just bought a house last month. And so, the targeting and all of that and understanding how to leverage that to become the go-to agent in the marketplace, really that was just the evolution of what the marketing principles already were, but how to apply them to, today's media.
And one of the things I really took from you guys from that, because I remember you guys were like, you want to be the expert, write the book. And one of the things that I really loved was I was like, you know what? In order to command authority, not demand it, I was like, I have to start with myself. I have to be a top producer. I have to get these achievements. I have to knock them out. And one of the things I really appreciated from you guys was understanding that process, right? Was being an authority by giving value and by doing my job versus telling people what to do. And that was a huge revolution for me too, because my entire life, I came from a corporate job where I oversaw 600 employees, and I was just like, okay, this is your job, and you have to do this, and you do this, and you do this, and you do this. And running a mega team, these are all grown adults. I can't tell anybody what to do, right?
Right. Independent contractors.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, how do I do this? And then I understood that if you want to be the authority, you got to write the book on it. And that doesn't necessarily mean go out and write a book. It means, like you said, doing things like this. But I did start writing a book. I'm halfway through, so hopefully I can knock that out by December. We'll see what happens there. But on that note with that, it's kind of one of these things that I see a lot of people in this industry, and how would you go about and reaching everybody and kind of explain to everybody, like, there's an easier way, there's a better way. How do we approach them? Because again, the whole ego thing, knocking on that door and breaking that down, everybody's different. So, for agents looking to build a team or for people trying to really expand their business, what would you kind of preach to them on that topic, on that note?
Yeah, I would say, I think everything starts with clarity, right? And so, like, where are you at? And you have to, in order to get somewhere, if you want to put it in the GPS, you got to have a location you're trying to get to, and you got to have a place where you start. And so you got to get real with yourself about where you're at and where you're trying to go. And then from there, it's all about what are all the ways to accomplish the goal, and then what's the best way. And what most people that don't realize the biggest threat and the biggest problem that they have is this lack of clarity, because there's so many different things you could do. It's like shiny object here. I want to do a podcast. I want to do this. but what am I trying to build? What's the ultimate goal I'm trying to get to? And now what's the next step? What's the first thing I need to do right now? And so that way you can get that mental clarity, get everything else, say like, no, that can stay on the shelf. That stays on the shelf. This is the thing I'm doing because I understand why I chose to do this. I have a decision filter for how I chose what I'm doing next. And when you have that, then you're unstoppable because that's being strategic. It's doing the right things in the right order. And that's how you have massive growth. And so like you make less mistakes. The bottom line is if you want to stop making mistakes, or make less mistakes or less big, maybe less harmful mistakes, along your growth path, you can make a mistake by focusing on something that can set you back a year or 2 years to your goals. So like that's really the framework, is understanding how do I make decisions? Where am I at today? Where am I trying to go? What are all the ways? And then your mentor should be able to help you with all the ways, because if you've never been here, then you're probably you're not gonna think of all the ways. You're just gonna think of the 1 or 2 things that you know of. And so your coach or mentor or the people that you're around should be able to help you see all the different things and ways you could get to the goal, and then help you with what's the right way. And that doesn't come from you knowing it. It comes from you learning it from someone else. That's the bottom line, is this isn't something you could possibly know, or you would have already done it. And that's you may be really confident that you know what's right, but what the biggest lessons you learn is when you didn't know, and you know now that you didn't know. Like you're like, I really believed this was going to work. Why? Well, because they told me it would, and they sold it to me, and they said it would, and they told me all these BS lies about how good the leads were and how many you were going to convert. And it's that's the problem, is you don't know how to filter the information you're getting, because the people that are first listen to what's what's being said, and then next to who's saying it, right? How do you know to trust who's telling you whatever it is? The agent down the hall says, yeah, I should do this, go look in the MLS. They ain't never sold a house, right? Yeah. So you got to be careful who you're getting your information from, and listen to the right people.
And I think that was one of the clearest things for me when it came to following your guys' path, was seeing your guys' actual level of success. Like you said, I see coaching programs are a dime a dozen nowadays, realistically. Let's be real. But a lot of these people haven't sold a house. And I had an agent call me yesterday, and she was asking me why she needed a CBS code, the extra code for the ELB. And, same response I always get when I try to just explain some things, right? There's always a reason for why we do things in this industry, and why we take certain protective steps for our clients, right? And right. I always get the same response, and it's always, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm like, that doesn't make it right now. Like, right. It might have worked 20 years ago, but right. Times are changing. And so the biggest thing is always keeping an open mind. And I had to learn that the hard way too, because, even Gil tried to teach me some things about running a team and running a mega team. And I was just like, no, I'm going to do it my way. And yeah, I like you said, it fell on my face a few times, and I was like, well, maybe he's got a reason behind what he's telling me. Mm-hmm. And one of the clearest things for me was following you guys because of the fact of your success, and they always say success leaves clues, but real quick to wrap it up, if you could give somebody who's trying to take that next level step, like just one easy, simple step, something they can implement like right now, what would that be?
Yeah. So something easy that you could implement. Well, something that you should do right now is, I would say, if you're not where you want to be right now, then you need to reach out to Dan and say, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm trying to go. What should I do next? And so this, like, sometimes people ask me a question like, hey, what book are you reading? Doesn't matter. What problem are you trying to solve? Right? Like there has to be a conversation where there's clarity around what problem you have that you feel like you need to solve. And until you start asking those questions of yourself, whatever idea I'm going to give you may or may not be what's right for you. So it's about internally understanding, where am I at? Where am I trying to go? And what am I trying to solve? If you do that and then get on the phone with smart people, you're going to be able to ask better questions. And so that's the first thing I would tell you, is to start with the process of getting clear. Because I can give you any number of ideas that are going to be great, or any lead sources, or an ad headline that's working, or an image that's pulling really well, and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what that's being tactical. That's just thinking about, what's my next move? I need to sell another house. Let's talk about what we want the future to look like. Let's talk about what you want your lifestyle to be. Let's talk about what we're trying to build here, so for the long term, so that we don't end up 10 years in the business and still sitting here trying to look for the next tactic that's going to help me be successful. That's my philosophy anyways. Sorry to skirt that question, but that's my philosophy.
But it's perfect because you're right, because you don't want to be there 10 years down the road and then have nothing to show for it. You want to be able to have everything all laid out. And I'm thankful for you, man. I know we're running out of time here. So thank you guys for checking in with the Takeover podcast. We're here every Wednesday. Well, we were here every Wednesday. Now we're picking it back up. That's why I brought Jay Kinder in for this epic episode. Jay, I look forward to seeing you in Cabo in February. And for anybody that really wants to learn more, hit me up, because we're going to go and meet Jay Kinder out in Cabo. We got some extra spots. I know that. I know Brent's been mentioning that a few times. So we're just going to go out there and have an amazing time in a mastermind. So Jay, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care, guys.
See you, man. See you, Dan.